Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease. I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute for medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for today's episode because it's a really important concept that is so mystical at times, it seems, but I'm really happy to talk about it because I didn't understand how important this was until I was lacking in it. So I'm really glad to talk to you guys about vitamin D. D as in David. It is one of the most important vitamins to me personally, and hopefully after listening to this, you'll understand why, because it's just like a wonder drug almost. With it, your body can do so many things, and without it, it's the complete opposite. And one of the things that's really, I think, has been really critical for me is just understanding how all of the vitamins and minerals play a role in my health. But particularly when you have a thyroid disease, remember your body doesn't metabolize things in the same way if your thyroid gland isn't functioning properly. So today I want to highlight vitamin D because it's November. So we're going into that season's daylight savings time is about to roll around again, and it's about to be winter. And what happens in the winter? Many of us experience seasonal depression and we don't get as much sun. It's not as fun. You can go out in 15-degree weather and sit there and try to get some sun, but you might be a little cold. But there are so many things that are just wonderful about making sure that your vitamin D levels are optimal. So first things first, what I always recommend to everyone is when you go to the doctor, have them check your blood and make sure that all of the processes in your body are working as optimally as possible as indicated through your blood. Now, here's a little story with me about vitamin D. Now, when I initially found out about my thyroid disease, I also didn't realize how deficient I was in all the things. Y'all, it was bad. It was real bad. But vitamin D was one of those things that literally changed my life. When I went to the doctor, once I got back to Michigan, because I was in Minnesota for the summer, I met a new endocrinologist and she was great. We ran my blood work and we realized that my vitamin D levels were dangerously low. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of milk. It doesn't really like me back. So we had an understanding. Here are some of the symptoms that can happen as a result of having low vitamin D, which the studies are really controversial when it comes to the link between vitamin D deficiency and hypothyroidism or any thyroid disease for that matter. But from a personal perspective, I just want to share some of the symptoms and what happened to me when I learned about that deficiency and once I actually got the treatment to bring my levels up. So first things first is the symptoms. So we all know around this time, it's so easy to get depressed because, as I mentioned before, the sun's not out and, it gets dark early and it's yucky. But the other thing about having depression is that when you have low blood levels, there is a higher probability that you'll incur depression. And, many of the fruits and vegetables that we eat during the summer that really elevate our blood levels, and think about oranges if you don't have a citrus allergy, and trying to really help with anemia. I know I probably eat more spinach than should be allowed in the summertime, but oftentimes I make salads that have oranges with spinach because I know that's going to help my iron levels, because I was also anemic at one point. So I was constantly doing all the things with my citrus fruits and my dark leafy vegetables, and it was just wonderful. So depression is definitely something that we all experience. You can experience back pain and bone pain and muscle pain, which is really crazy. And remember, I was having so much joint pain and muscle pain during that time, and I just didn't understand it. It freaked me out. It confused me. It frustrated me, and I just did not enjoy it. But one of the other symptoms that really just threw me for a loop was when you have low vitamin D in your blood, you also have a higher incidence of having fatigue and just feeling tired and lethargic. Now, think about it, guys. When you have a thyroid disease, you already have low energy. Compound that with having low vitamin D levels, it was the worst. It was horrible. And finally, when we got information about why I was feeling so bad, and we looked at my vitamin levels, my doctor literally prescribed me 20,000 units for 6 months. It was no joke. Those were some of the largest horse pills I've ever had to take in my whole entire life. And yes, I said it that way because it was necessary. It was serious. It was a very serious matter. And it really opened my eyes to the importance of making sure that I was feeding myself appropriately to make sure that I was getting as many vitamins and minerals from my diet. But I also asked her about supplements and what's good and what's important to making sure that my levels are increasing, because I didn't want to have all of these deficiencies. And we started talking about vitamin B injections, which I ultimately had to take, and making sure I had my calcium and magnesium and all of those things, because that also contributes to joint pain. So y'all, it was bad. I was a hot mess. And I'm so happy that that endocrinologist is actually who helped me understand the importance of vitamins and minerals. And that is when I started to change my diet. Now, this is almost 10 years ago at this point, maybe 9. So that really sparked my interest in making sure that I was getting the most nutrition from my food. And it's also what made me start just researching and understanding the role that vitamin D plays in our body. And when I got to a point where I believe it was about after a month or so, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, I actually started to feel better. I couldn't believe it. And again, like I said, there are a lot of controversial topics surrounding vitamin D and thyroid patients. But let me tell you, in my experience, getting my vitamin D levels back on track was a game changer. And I'm so happy that I did it. And one of the things that I want to recommend to you all is that the next time you go to the doctor, just ask for a complete blood workup. Talk to your doctor about your vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Or even if you don't have deficiencies, just ask those questions like, all right, I have a thyroid disease. Are there certain foods that are going to be good for me to consume? Are there certain supplements that you recommend that I should take in order to keep my thyroid gland functioning optimally? Are there things that I should avoid that will impact my thyroid levels? All of those things are valid questions. So I highly encourage you guys to just take a look at it. And if you have a patient portal, go on it, check it, see what your vitamin D levels are, see what your vitamin B levels are, A, K, all of those things, because you need them to function. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware of the options that you have. And in some cases, you may have to take those horse pills. Your doctor might also suggest maybe taking 2,000 units until the springtime or the summer. It's not a long-term thing, but once you get things in order and back in balance, you will realize how much better you feel. So I just want to encourage you guys, you are super intelligent, you're talented, and I know that you guys got this. And I just want to encourage you all and let you know that you can do this. But I also don't want you to suffer through another winter, especially with having low vitamin D in particular. So go ahead, head to your patient portal if you have one, and check to see what your vitamin levels are. If you don't see them, the next time you go to the doctor, say, hey, I want to be able to look at my vitamin levels and my mineral levels to make sure that everything is working as good as it can, and go from there. And with that, friends, I believe in you and I know that you can do it. So don't get upset. Don't worry about it. Everything is going to work out. And just a reminder, we are starting the Thigh Warrior holiday group today. So if you haven't already gotten your spot in, go ahead and sign up at ebonycolina.com/holidays, and I will see you guys in the group. With that, friends, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay, Thyroid Warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, be great, reflect on your triumphs, and as always, be well. Take care.